What's good, YouTube, man? Been gone for a while, man. But today I figured we'll go ahead and get back in the game. We just go ahead and rank in all of the anime that I've seen throughout the years. And it was more than I thought. We got like 113 animes, man. Go ahead and get up in it, man. Don't want to make this video too long, man. Starting out, we got Tower of God. Oh, to prefaces. Saying the word wrong. A lot of some of these, like they'll have. I'm not gonna judge them by seasons because a lot, obviously animes have shifted to a lot of animes have shifted towards the seasonal like structure. We did that, I'd be here all day. So I ain't trying to do it. But I will break it up if it's like say Naruto and Shippuden. They're two different ones. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, etc., etc. They're different, so those will be judged differently. But as far as like the seasonal things, even though I will comment on later seasons, that'll let you know kind of how I feel about it. All right, starting this off, Tower of God. So I definitely have fell in love with Tower of God, and it's not mainly because of the anime. A big part of it has been because of the not call it a manga, but I still call it a manga anyway. But reading like the webtoon version of it, and the story is really good. Just basing it off the entire merit, I'm gonna kind of give it when I judge these animes, I am not gonna block out the manga because it's kind of hard to compare, not compare, but to judge one, but not give it credit for the other. Like it'll just mix it. So like if say like the anime is really good and the manga is really bad, then obviously it brings it down, and vice versa. So that's what we're gonna do. So for Tower of God, I'm gonna say it's a decent watch, right? It's a decent watch. If it was just judging it just off the manga, I'd say it's arguably up there in the GOAT for me. But if I'm thinking about it, season two was really kind of like a downgrade from season one. It does get better, so the anime will get a lot better in my opinion, if as long as they handle it correctly. All right, we're gonna hold One Piece off on. No, we're gonna go ahead and get One Piece straight up in there. It's the GOAT, one of the GOATs for sure. Whether you like it or hate it, it's obviously the second most selling series in fiction. So I think it's just behind Superman. It's gonna catch Superman pretty soon. So Superman done had plenty of writers, whereas One Piece is just one person. But I understand how One Piece might not be for everybody, right? Because the pacing can sometimes be a little bad. But as far as like reading the manga, and if you're up to date in the manga, man, we getting some of the best chapters ever. But we're gonna cover that in later videos. All right, next, Trigun. So Trigun is really good. Older anime. A lot of people might not know it. It does, in my opinion, not hold up as well. Like it's still decent. We're gonna get our first submission for the mid, in my opinion. All right, so I do not know how to say this. It's Inuyasha or something like that. Now Inuyasha that's next too on the list, but Inuyasha is like it's you probably have seen it. It's like where there's a kid and he has like he can shoot like little air bullets with his finger, and then there's an old man. Basically, the whole premise is the old man and the young man both get like in contact with like aliens or something like alien powers or something like that, and obviously the kid chooses to go down the evil route. The old man goes the helpful route. All in all, it's a pretty good story and has really good themes in it, and I'd say it's actually a good watch. You know, and it has a lot. It references other shows like the kid. He's a real big fan of One Piece. Like he talks about One Piece actually in the show. So I think that's pretty cool when they like are able to break that wall. Next, Inuyasha. Inuyasha, I've seen in the community that Inuyasha is very like a hit or miss show. Some people like it, some people love it, and some people hate it. You can say that about everything, and that's going to be on this list. But I think Inuyasha is definitely one of the more controversial ones. Growing up, Inuyasha, especially early on, like because everybody has the iconic. You go to sleep, you wake up, and next thing you know, you got the Inuyasha ending song just blasting it through your TV. That's kind of how it was for me as well. But about a couple years ago, I decided to go back and watch Inuyasha start to finish, and then watch Final Act, which is, if you haven't seen, at some point they stopped the main show, and then it was on hiatus for a while, and then they came back and finished in Final Act. So if you ever, for whatever reason, like me, for the longest time, I was like, shit, they just stopped the anime. Like I was like, what happened, you know? So then I finally found out that Final Act was, the thing. But I feel like the way everything wraps up is pretty good. It's a all in all pretty decent show. So it's definitely, that's pretty much where it's gonna go. It's gonna go in decent. All right, so this one, it's like Vivi's fluorescent floret song or something like that. Really good show. I can't really. It's just really, it's really good storytelling, and it's one of those time travel animes, which is really good in my opinion, and it does it really well. So it's a very touching, like emotional kind of show, and I would recommend, if you're gonna watch it, make sure you're watching it. Watching it, it's not really something you can kind of not look at the screen, because there's a lot of anime that you can just sometimes just watch and not like pay attention. But this is like definitely one of the ones that I feel like you should pay attention to. All right, so the going to caveat with the Fate. So the Fate series are obviously, if you're a fan of the Fate series, or if you even know anything about the Fate series, it's all over the place. So I do have those broken up. So starting off, this is the Grand Order series. I don't know too much about the Grand Order stuff, but I've actually watched one. I've only really watched one of the spinoffs, and that's the Babylonian one, because Gilgamesh is my favorite. So seeing Gilgamesh is like, one that's, it can't get enough of Gilgamesh in my opinion. I'm gonna immediately be biased and put this as good, because I like it because you got to see Gilgamesh. Like, if you when I talk about in the later version, in the other versions of Fate, you got to see him in all his glory. Like, he's powerful, he's wise. He's also an older version of Gilgamesh, so he's not like, it's like headstrong and it's arrogant and stuff like that. So Unlimited Blade Works Fate. All right. So I have heard plenty of people. I've talked to plenty of people that sit here and say they think this was the best one. I won't say which one is the best one until I get to it. But just judging it right now, I will tell you that this is not the best one. Okay. Actually, is this fake? Unlimited Blade Works. Tell me, do I got all? I should have all of them on there, but we're just gonna say this is Unlimited Blade Works. So this one is decent. Yeah, I said it's decent. So the next one, I want to say this is Stay Night, or is this Heaven's Feel? Let's just go through. Okay, no, it's Stay Night, because we have Heaven's Feel down here. So Stay Night, off real awful, terrible. I do not like it. It's not turbo ass, right? It's not turbo bad, right? But I feel like out of all of these Fate series, this one was the weakest. I didn't connect with it. I know it's a controversial take. I have homeboys, that say, "Oh man, I really love Stay Night version, the original," but like, I I just can't, I didn't like the Saber, the mixture between the Saber and I forgot the main character's name. But I just didn't rock, like, their connection didn't feel as authentic to me. And obviously, and also it suffers from like a younger time, with, I feel like animation was worse, even though there was anime coming out around that time. The animation was still good, so I also just suffers from that for some reason. But now, actually, let's go ahead and go over to Heaven's Feel. Heaven's Feel. So I am gonna rank these left, or reading these left or right. So let me just go ahead and fix this real quick. I'm gonna put that right there. All right, so Heaven's Feel is ahead of Unlimited Blade Works and Stay Night. So you should already know where I'm going, since I skipped it. Fate Zero is a go. It ain't go. But it's very good. It's very good. Fate Zero, I feel like it has all the things. It has great characters, has a great story, it's great themes. It's very and for me personally, I prefer like sometimes when these stories are a lot more dark. So like being able to see, you know, how the story played out, it made it like feel like way more impactful for me. And when I got into the Fate series, I started with zero. Because whenever I watch like these like big franchises, I always like to start chronologically and not release order. And people have their opinions on that, but I prefer starting from one to go on forward. Same way with like it's the same way in the Star Wars series. Star Wars series started at one, and anybody that's always talks about it was like, oh, the first one's the fourth one. Well, the first one is the first one to me. I mean, they numbered that for a reason. Moving on. Samurai Champloo. So it's an old one, and I recently rewatched it probably like a year or two ago, and I feel like it really does like hold up. So I would definitely put it in the decent, yeah. I'd actually have it. I'd have it. Yeah, I'll actually have it above Inuyasha. All right, Link Click. This is kind of low key because it's a Chinese anime. It grew over the years, right? I think they're on like season 3 currently right now, and it's like anime only too. So it's just there's nothing to read. There's nothing to read. There might be like some light novel out there, but I'm not sure about that. It said it was anime exclusive when I looked at it. This show, if you like time travel, really good, really good. The whole premise is these two guys they're able to look at a picture and they can jump into that picture and live out either as those people or as some person in the picture for the next like 12 hours or something like that. Um, really good. A lot of plot twists. A lot of it actually tugs at your strings a little bit. Good little stories too. Definitely putting this as good. It just keeps getting better as well. I don't remember this. I want to say this is Log Horizon. So Log Horizon started. So this is where it's going to come into play. Where I say other seasons bring stuff either up or down. Log Horizon season one, I really was rocking with, but season two, I don't know what it was, but it just didn't rock with me, and I kind of just dropped it. All right, Made in Abyss. I kind of got fooled on this. 'Cause I had a buddy of mine telling me to try it, get into it, blah blah blah, because he knows I like, and especially since he knows I like more darker, like mature type of stuff like that. I couldn't. I put it off for so long because of the art style and the characters. Obviously, it's like I think they call it like a chibi type of. It isn't full chibi on like a ranking of kings or something like that, but I just couldn't get with the art style. But then I finally sat down and gave it a watch, and it was pretty good. It wasn't. I didn't think it was as dark and twisted as like he was saying, but it does get dark. So it's definitely not a super friendly watch. So, but I do think it was pretty good. So this is the downside with ranking so many anime. You end up having sometimes you end up having a tier that's just overloaded. And actually, I put that in good. Yu Yu Hakusho, this is gonna be a goat for me automatically. Um, I think Yu Yu Hakusho is obviously one of the pillars that doesn't get talked about enough because everybody always fixates on the big three or Dragon Ball Z. But I feel like Yu Yu Hakusho has a place somewhere in there because of like when you watch it, it might come off as pretty simplistic, but it has some of the deepest characters. Like a lot of people always go straight to Goro, but in my opinion, the deepest character is Sensui, and I think that's like one of the best characters written ever. You get this. So if you know Sensui, you should get where I'm coming from. So, but moving on, Erased. Erased is a really good. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that up there. It's more like a yeah. It's a short anime, so it's really recommended. You can watch it pretty much within a day. I think it's like 12 episodes, maybe not even that. But it's really short and it's basically like a detective slash time travel type of deal. So basically, if you like I said, a thing that I do really like is I do like time travel. I do like thought provoking thing. I like mysteries. So this is something that really vibe with me. All right, Roni Kenshin. So, TLDR or whatever you want to call it. In these type of situations, I separate the creator from the art. Whether who it be, like Michael Jackson. I don't really know. I don't really care what he was. Whatever he was like accused of. His music was decent, so I judge the music. I don't judge the person. So, Roni Kenshin, if you know anything about the author, there's obviously things about him, but in my opinion, the show is pretty alright. It's nothing special, nothing crazy. And I know I haven't watched the I don't know if they want to call it a re-release or if they just rebooted it or whatever. I haven't watched it. I don't know if that finished or it's still ongoing, but I know that came out not like a while ago. I don't know. Shit, it might be. It might be done. But I know I saw like clips of the first couple episodes, and it did look nice. All right, Goblin Slayer. So everybody probably heard of the Goblin Slayer first scene. Oh my god, blah blah blah. But outside of that, it doesn't get as bad as people say. So it's kind of like you stomach through like a sketchy first scene, and after that, you're kind of chilling. But I'd say this anime is pretty mid. But if you do like one of those animes, you just cut your brain off. Put this there. You really want to just cut your brain off and just like chill and just watch something and just watch some people some brute just hack and slash his way. That's your show for you right there, right? All right, Seven Deadly Sins. I have not seen the spinoff, so I'm not ranking that one at all. But Seven Deadly Sins. So this one's a controversial one as well. So when I first watched Seven Deadly Sins was a couple years into its release on Netflix. So I want to say this was way before like the sketchy animation started popping up. I want to say it was like season two, maybe season three, maybe I don't know. I forgot. I don't know when the season when it got bad, but the anime was so good at the time that it made me want to go read the manga. And that's what I did. So I read the manga, got all the way to the end, and then I kind of just didn't really have an urge to go back and watch the anime when it kept coming out. So I'm gonna judge this based off the only shit that I've seen. So it's a decent anime. I we got it in between right there. All right, Cyberpunk. Did not play the video game Cyberpunk, so I never really cared to really watch this. But then when I sat down and watched it, oh my god, was I amazed how actually good and how emotional that shit got me. Still pissed at the end. Probably ain't watching the sequel or spinoff, whatever they're doing. All right, now we're getting into the JoJo's. Oh man, JoJo's. All right. When I first found JoJo, yeah, scale it back a little further. I never got into JoJo initially because I thought it was overly feminine, however you want to, what I'm basically trying to say. It's not that I don't, not like that. I mean, I don't respect that type of stuff. I do, but it's just like, oh, I didn't, the art style was a little weird, different. So I was like, I won't watch it. But then I sat down and watched it. Oh my god, I was so stupid. JoJo is definitely one of the best ever. So, getting into that. We're judging each part, right? So, four. Part four is automatically up there. Part four, I believe, is really like, eh. Part four is really. I like the more central location, town, and the. It's more. It's not. It's slice of life. It's not super slice of life, but it still is kind of slice of life. But it mixes in that weird JoJo feel, right? So, but don't get too much to say. Part five, I do think is better, much better. I also am like a sucker for that. Like, I forgot exactly where they are, but like I kind of like that style a little bit more. That blanking on whatever where there's the setting is, like a France. I want to say, yeah, like a France, like a setting. I kind of dig that a lot more, and I also feel like the main character super mature and obviously Requiem at the very end. I'm a sucker for OP stuff, so that was really cool getting to see that. And this is Stardust Crusaders Part 3. Part 3, I used to be a big fan of. but it has gotten a little step because it was more like monster of the week type of deal for majority of it. The Dio fight was really cool, but just didn't really rock too much for me. Part one, part one. A lot of people say part one is the weakest, and I generally agree, but it's still a decent watch in my opinion. Dead Mount Paramount, or here, I forgot what the exact word is. This anime was surprisingly good, and I think it's got a new season coming out soon, or I might be making that up. But definitely recommend this. This is definitely a good watch. Death Parade. I actually like this. I'm gonna try and speed it up a little bit so we're not this video isn't too long. But when I get to a series that I really want to talk about, I'm gonna talk about it. Mm, Put that right there. Death Parade. Also, if you watch it, it has a Death Note reference, and I really like that. So if you know, you'll see it. You know what I'm saying? Steins Gate, GOAT tier anime. If you haven't watched it, like I said, it's a big time travel anime, and it's also one of the ones you need to focus on. You need to watch it, and if you watch it, and stick it all the way through, you're not gonna be let down. And it's recommended that you watch Steins Gate Zero, which isn't a new, isn't like a sequel or anything, but it covers the events of one of the last episodes in a full detail with another like time travel twist on top of it, right? All right, Records of Ragnarok. A lot of people I've seen give people like they've given shit about like animation, but I didn't find it that bad. It might be a hot take, but I didn't find it that bad. But it was a pretty solid anime. I read the manga, and the characters are I feel like the characters are really well written, and the themes that they cover are really well as well. Parasite, Parasite's a really pretty decent. I'd say it's good. It's a good anime. It's you know, nothing too crazy. Got a little good humor here and there. The Witch and the Beast. This was a random anime that I just randomly found, and it actually ended up being good. Dang, we're starting to get a little flooded on the good. Black Butler, I am very high on. Not that high. I'm very high on Black Butler, especially if you like. So here's the key: if you watch Black Butler the first season all the way through, and then go into I believe the second season, you're gonna start watching filler. And I think either the end of season one or all of season two. One of the two is straight filler. It's just not even a part of the canon story. And that's if you watch it like that and just judge off that, you will think it's straight slop because that's what it was. The filler was really bad. But then when I found out that there's actual canon timeline, et cetera, then I was like, dang, this show is really good. And they just finished a new season, I think, probably like 2 months ago. It was really good, really good. I recommend it definitely, 1000%, really good. Blue Exorcist. This kind of suffered from the same thing. Apparently, only half the season when it first came out was actually canon, and the rest was filler. I'm gonna put this as mid in my opinion, but I do plan on going back and actually watching it. And I have also seen the manga like around like bookstores and stuff like that. Cowboy Bebop. Gonna put this as top of good. It's not a goat, but it is like a great throwback callback to like one of the best to do it back in the day. All right, so now we got. It's funny. We had Cowboy Bebop, and then we have this modern clone, Lazarus. Man, I wanted Lazarus to be really good, but it ended up just being decent, in my opinion. I'm starting to feel bad for having Tower of God and decent, but can't judge it too hard, too proudly right now. Lazarus suffered from it. Just it tried too hard to feel like Cowboy Bebop, but it didn't actually accomplish that. And then I feel like the overarching plot was kind of forgotten about, or was kind of just like trimmed along, and then at the very end, it just like rammed everything in your face. And I didn't really kind of vibe with it. It wasn't bad. Definitely didn't hate that I invested time watching it. All right, we're gonna get into. So I do have some of these isekai on here. You know, everybody watches the little shit isekai here and there. A couple of these were actually good though. This was like a finest assassin gets reincarnated or something like that. This was actually one of the more, you know, well thought out isekai. Really good. Recommend that. Psychopath. Got this up here. Psychopath season one. This will I won't judge the later seasons, but season one, you can watch season one and just be done with Psychopath, and you will have got the best viewing experience out of it ever. Psychopath season two, it goes to like where it's still the same world and has some of the same cast members, but the like driving force of season one, those people are gone. So do with that with what you will, but really good. All right, Mob 100. Really good, man. Don't really got too much to say about Mob. Don't really hate it. Tomodachi Games, I want to say that's the name of this. Was a solid, like, thought provoking, game oriented, anime. Pretty good, not gonna lie. Yeah, we'll have it over JoJo. Ninja Kamui, it was pretty mid. Not gonna lie. It had promise. It had promise, but then like about the halfway point, it just fell off. Bungo Stray Dogs, it's gonna be good for me. I do feel like the weak point though is the main character. The main character is very not him, basically, but he does have his moments. But I think the supporting cast does a really good job of like keeping the story up. And then obviously there's a lot of like thought inducive moments that happen in the story that I really vibe with. So, and if you're caught up with like the manga, or hell, even if you've watched the last season, the most recent season, some great stuff can happen. Kami Go Kill. This is like one of the favorite like I just want to torture myself type of animes. You want to watch it and just be like totally mad at yourself or like just punish yourself. But overall, it's not a great story in my opinion. You know, but it is like a good watch. So I'd say it's decent. Berserk. I put off watching Berserk for a while. I don't still don't get as like much hype as like some people do, but all right, JoJo Part Two. Part Two, I feel like is a lot stronger, so I'll definitely put that in good. Let's see. JoJo Part Two for a while was like my favorite one. This is a Berserk of Gluttony. I recently watched this actually, really recent, and it actually ended up being pretty decent. Put that right there. This was another one of the isekai. I want to say it's like, am I really the strongest? Or something like that. It was pretty mid. It was awful. It was like mid. Not gonna be too many down there. Hopefully, this is the daily life of the mortal king. We're getting into like the not slop, slop anime, but summertime rendering. This is a really good anime. Really recommend it. This is another one of the time travel, time loop type of deals. Notice there's a lot of time on here. All right, Stone Ocean. I do want to talk about this one a little bit. A little bit. I'll talk about Stone Ocean just a little bit. Right, Stone Ocean is a heart wrencher for me. Like I can't bring myself to. Like, I read obviously I read the manga first before it came out, and it broke me the ending. So I have yet to actually watch the ending of the anime of Part Six. I watched like halfway up to the halfway point, but I just can't bring myself to watch because getting to see the ending of it is just like yeah. Code Geass. Do I put it in goat? Uh, we're gonna do it on go. Really great. Don't got much to say. Don't want to go too in depth with it, but if you know, you know. Lord of Mysteries. I'm putting pole vaulting this shit all the way to the top of good. Is if it recently ended, like literally like 2 weeks ago, I want to say. Very good anime. It is one of those you have to pay attention. If you're not paying attention, then you're probably just gonna be lost. But the downside is this anime, if you're gonna be anime only, it's not gonna end anytime soon. And I think I saw a timeline out there. I don't know if it's true, but this thing supposedly ain't gonna. We're not getting the end until like 2034 or something like that. Which might not feel like that long for some people, but it's long. So, but I went ahead and looked up the web novel and started reading it. We out here reading. I haven't read me a good like long book in a while, so I was like, what we do? Baki. All right, it's gonna sound crazy. Baki is goaded. Baki is goaded, and that's just it. That's just it. We're not going into depth in this. All right, this is one of the better. I feel like isekais. I don't even know that. I'm pretty sure this is classified as isekai. It's Misfits of a Demon King or something like that. It's actually pretty good. I think this is the last anime I just finished. The Demon King is a no reincarnated as a nobody. It ended up being pretty decent. I actually do think that's right there. This is the appraisal skill. This actually ended up being pretty decent as well. What is this? I don't know it. I don't know what anime this is. This is one of those reincarnation ones. We're gonna put this in mid because I don't remember. Black Summoner. This was mid. This or not blue exorcist. This was like reincarnated as the strongest exorcist. This one was actually pretty decent because it wasn't as cringe as like some of these isekai will be. This was like I got a. We'll put these in awful. Tokyo Revengers. It was. It starts off really good. Actually, I'll say it's good. It's good. It's good. Country Old Bumpkin. Was pretty awful. Doctor Stone. Decent, in my opinion. I'm putting Tower of God in good. I parry everything. What was that? Awful. Historia, I'm super high on. Um, Reading the manga for it, pretty high on it. I actually like it, and it gives me vibes like a Harry Potter type of vibe. Really, really vibe with it. Tokyo Ghoul. All right, this is the controversial one. Tokyo Ghoul. If you read the manga, you realize how badly they butchered the anime. But if you just watch the anime for itself, it's not that bad. So I would like this is when the manga snobs like will say like, "Oh, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit" because of what they changed, and it is shit for what they done. They completely just rewrote the entire story, you know, from a very early point. So, but just if you just view the anime, just watch the anime and you don't read the manga, it's a good watch in my opinion. And then that includes Tokyo Ghoul Re as well, which is like the spinoff, which I could have put on here, but I figured I just throw it in like this. So now we have To Be Hero X. Still watching this currently, and it's been pretty good. Sort of online. I'm gonna put this above all this stuff. It is some of this stuff's a little weird, but for the most part, I'm a gamer. It's about being in a game. Still got to give it its love. Hot take time. Hot take time. All right. Full Metal Alchemist, the first one, 2003. Up here, Brotherhood, below it. I prefer, I will say that Brotherhood has the better overarching world story, et cetera, et cetera. But I feel like the original 2003, which I say that it's original, but it just like it got too close to the manga when it was airing, and they decided to keep going, so they just made up. But I do feel like I vibe more with the dark. I felt like it was a darker tone, even though Brotherhood is pretty dark as well. But then I also feel like the ending of the 2003 version was more in line with how I expected things to go, whereas the Brotherhood was a little bit different. Monster, really good. I should put that above Cowboy Bebop. Punch Man is not. One Punch Man is like One Punch Man is mid. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Rising Shield Hero, pretty mid. The beginning of after the end, a lot of people hated on this. It was pretty okay, in my opinion. Mushoku Tensei, it was mid. I feel like it could be a lot better. They got too stuck on some of the other stuff, but Ragnar Crimson, it's a pretty decent watch. Fire Force recently, I binged this and then I went and read the manga because I heard it was over. So I just went in and thought what I was because we were already waiting in the last season, and it's actually pretty good. It gets a little wonky, at the end, but not bad. Kaiju number 8, their manga just recently ended, but judging it off the anime, but just judge it straight off the anime, it's like right at good. Slime, Turbo S, I don't really, I just didn't vibe with it as much. We got our first Turbo S. Actually, no, we'll put it in awful. We're saving Turbo S for later. Vinland Saga, I haven't watched season 2. I know what season 2 is about, but I just haven't got around to watching it. But Vinland Saga season 1, go tier. All right, this is another kind of hot take. I'd say I dropped Frieren after like 3, 4 episodes, so it's going in mid. Windbreakers, it's a decent watch. Assassination Classroom, I say it's decent as well, honestly. Classroom of the Elite, I actually prefer Classroom of the Elite a lot over like Assassination Classroom. Now this one is like I got like a cheat or something like that, like a broken ability or something like that, where they just keep improving, and that's decent. Mashley, this is controversial. I like it again, like how a story felt like a Harry Potter type of deal as well. Mashley is pretty much just fucking Harry Potter. It's just a Harry Potter ripoff. Hell's Paradise, pretty good in my opinion. It's like right around there. I want to say Chainsaw Man. This is where one of the ones where I feel like the manga hurts it for me. Chainsaw Man just off the anime, it's high good in my opinion, like mid good. But with the part two, it's definitely gonna be decent in my opinion. Death Note, not as big on Death Note as a lot of people are. All right, we're getting into Dragon Ball Daima. Eeh. All right, I didn't finish Daima honestly, and I feel bad because I am a huge Dragon Ball fan. But I'm just gonna give it good. I'm gonna just put in decent, just off the top because it's just Dragon Ball Super. I'm gonna put it in the same place. Actually, I'm putting it like towards the bottom because I do not like what they did with Goku. In my opinion, like really made him like dumb, and it just didn't really rock that much. This is another hot take. I'm a big GT fan. I know GT did not do great. I know GT didn't do a lot of things great, but I do feel like I vibe with the atmosphere and the aura of GT as a whole. So, and I feel like we got Baby, which is like a top tier villain that we've ever got out of the Dragon Ball verse. And I feel like the Black Star Balls like concept is probably borderline one of the best like actual plot lines we could have gotten in the original story that we haven't gotten. OG Dragon Ball is a goat in my opinion because it just, yeah, I don't have too much to say. Uh, My Hero, I feel like it's awful. I don't. Nah. Yeah. It's not. Just don't rock with it too much. Don't get me wrong, it has good parts, but I just, for the most part, don't really rock with it. Eminence in Shadow is a really fun anime to watch. I don't take it too serious, and it's really fun to watch. Don Don, I'm actually really starting to fall in love with Don Don, so we're gonna put that right there. Attack on Titan. I'm not big on Attack on Titan as everybody else. I won't put it as a goat, but it's definitely up there. Spy X Family, I did not think to actually like, but actually, put it up. Hunter x Hunter, awful in my opinion. It's a super hot take, super molten take. But I feel like Hunter x Hunter is just not that great. I mean, the Chimera Ant arc, the second half of it is really the Chimera Ant arc is really good, but I feel like the York exam, not York exams, the Hunter exams and Greed Island. So York New and like half of Chimera Ant are like the really good ones that I like. But outside of that, I feel like it doesn't. And then York New has a bad thing because I feel like in York New it just drops it. When it gets to the very peak of like, oh shit, this shit's really hitting the fan, and then it just drops, just plummets. So it's like Demon Slayer. I know that'll get a lot of shit for having Hunter x Hunter that low. Demon Slayer is decent though. Boruto, that's our turbo ass right there. I think that's gonna be our only turbo ass. JJK, I'm judging this off anime and manga, so this will be like right here. JJK is really really great, really great. Solo leveling, this is good. Clover, Bleach. I'm judging Thousand Year Blood Work as well. Like I'm a big fan of Bleach, always have been. Naruto, I'm gonna put this mm, right next to GT. That's Shippuden, right? Yeah, that's Shippuden. Put Shippuden next to GT. I'm more of a Shippuden fan than I am. Undead Unluck, surprisingly, I feel like this anime doesn't get enough love, but it's really good in my opinion. What is this? You know what anime this is? We're gonna just put this on mid. I don't even know what it is. Damn, I really can't see what that is. ReZero though. ReZero actually, it's like again another. I'm gonna put it up here with summertime rendering. It's like right here. It's a little worse than summertime rendering. Shangri-La Frontier, pretty mid. It's cool like in the first couple episodes, but I feel like it just drops really hard and I just don't vibe with this much. Sakamoto Days, it's a decent watch. Dragon Ball Z. So Dragon Ball Z would be like up here. Naruto, like more of a Shippuden fan than OG Naruto. Like OG Naruto is like a decent watch. And the best for last. This is a hot. This I want to say hot take. I feel like it's just a random take that nobody. Let me. Here we go. Gintama, best anime ever made. If you watch it and you watch it all the way through, you will see, you will appreciate it. You know, there's a thing saying if you watch Gintama and you actually like it, you ended up loving it. You know, I feel like it's just one of the best. But yeah, 40 something minutes, man, for us to rank 114 or 13 anime. And I'm pretty sure I missed some that I've watched before. And so closing out, we only have one in Turbo as, and that's Boruto, you know? And awful, I could be a little bit more friendly to My Hero and Hunter x Hunter, but you know, it is what it is, you know? And let's go ahead. This is Overlord. Let me fix this. Fix that. Overlord's pretty good. pretty decent though. Like, it's not too great, but it's not too in depth. I feel like, and I feel like the story's just been dragging along. So. But yeah, man. So regular videos gonna start coming out a lot more. Just want to come out, start the first video back. Want to go ahead and rank the animes that I've watched, and yeah, just want to get this out to y'all. Y'all seen some stuff, y'all want to critique it. Y'all let me know in the comments if there's anime that you suggest that I watch. Please put that in there as well, because I'm always looking for something to watch. I think currently I'm still watching Dandadan season 2 right now. That's the most recent one I'm watching. And yeah, till then, see y'all later, man.